Full-time travel is one of the most incredible kinds of freedom. We always wake up in a new place. We explore new cities, new cultures, new food, new landscapes. One month, we might be tucked away in a quiet mountain town. The next month, we're living near a turquoise sea. And after that, we're in a bustling, underrated city that is mind-bogglingly beautiful. There's no fixed address, no long-term lease, nothing tying us down. But there is a side of full-time travel that you can't see in the pretty pictures we post. And that's the constant pressure to find the next place to live. I'm Sarah, one half of the Jet Setting Fools duo. My husband Chris and I have been wandering the world full-time since 2014. As nomads, we don't have a permanent dwelling, no place to call our own. I'm not complaining, it's a lifestyle that suits us. But it does mean that putting a roof over our heads is always top of mind. In the last decade, we have honed our skills at finding stellar long-term rentals that serve as temporary homes. We've learned what matters, what doesn't, and a few tricks that help ensure we rent a space that works for us. In this video, I'm going to talk about what's important to us as full-time travelers and some of the mistakes we've made on this decade-long journey. So what does matter when we are looking for a place to stay long-term? First and foremost, it's price. When we are looking for a place to stay, we're looking for one that won't destroy our budget. On this channel, I talk a lot about how essential our travel budget is to our lifestyle, because our budget is what has allowed us to travel nonstop for more than 12 years. In previous videos, I've opened up about the particulars. And you can find the link to my video about how we afford to travel in the description. I'll also add the link to affordable European destinations if you want some real-life examples. Money matters when you travel long-term, and accommodation is our biggest cost. So, how do we keep our costs in check? With monthly furnished rentals, or more specifically, with deeply discounted monthly furnished rentals that are way cheaper than shorter stays. When we first set off on our journey, we traveled pretty fast. In the first 8 months, we never stayed anywhere longer than 3 weeks. While we were able to score a few weekly discounts during that time, we weren't staying in one place long enough to get those really substantially discounted rates. When we started embracing slower travel, it wasn't just about pulling back on our pace. We realized that there were huge money savings that were too big to ignore. Not taking advantage of the massive discounts would have been a huge mistake. Now, that's not to say that we only book accommodation for months at a time, because we don't. We mix it up with shorter hotel stays, week-long adventures, and house sitting. Okay, so planning ahead also makes a difference, and it's been quite the evolution for us as full-time travelers. During our inaugural 2014 round-the-world journey, we had a route, but no reservations. We would show up in a city and then start looking for a place to stay. That kind of freedom was exhilarating, but it became exhausting. Plus, we were losing money, which is a big mistake for any budget traveler. Waiting until the very last minute forced us to accept whatever was available at whatever price they were asking. In our second year of travel, we began making plans a couple weeks to a month in advance. And now, more than a decade later, we book places to stay 6 to 9 months out. Starting our search earlier gives us the biggest pool of availability with the best value options. But because we book so far in advance, we only rent places with a good cancellation policy, just in case our plans change. When choosing a specific property, location also matters to us, and it matters a lot. In the past, we've made the mistake of chasing cheaper apartments into suburbia, and we ended up in neighborhoods that were far from everything. While we don't need to be right in the heart of the city, or even want to be, it's usually too expensive and loud, we do like to be within walking distance to the city center. We also need a nearby grocery store and green space or a park where we can get in a good workout. Inside the apartment, 3 of the biggest things that matter are fast Wi-Fi, the kitchen, and cleanliness. Speedy Wi-Fi is essential for our work. We need a kitchen that is well equipped with plenty of dishes, pots, pans, skillets, and utensils so that we can cook meals at home. Cleanliness seems to be a subjective matter, but we certainly don't want to live in a dirty apartment for a full month. Trying to figure out if a specific rental will tick all these boxes is tough, as most hosts make broad references without providing any details. But this is why we love reviews. They are a goldmine of information. The mistake we've made in the past is not wholly trusting the insight of previous guests. Former guests are quick to point out any deficiencies in Wi-Fi speed. They spill the beans on kitchen setups, and they don't hold back about cleanliness. We now take those reviews to heart, specifically if it's feedback left by a traveler who stayed for a month or longer. Other gems we glean from reviews are noise levels, especially from upstairs neighbors or through thin walls. And reviews are also good for getting a general gauge on the safety of the area. Over time, we've also learned that some amenities really matter. In the beginning, we like to rough it a bit, but we've come to grips with the fact that we're not all that tough. We don't need things like fancy coffee machines or large bathtubs or even basics like shampoo and conditioner. But we do need a washing machine. And renting month-long stays without one was a big mistake that we made for far too long. During our first few years of travel, we did so much sink laundry. And because I had actually packed too light, I was doing sink laundry every couple of days. Now, we always search for places with a washing machine inside the apartment. Of course, if we're struggling to find a place that fits into our budget, having a washer isn't a hard deal breaker, and that amenity will be the first to go. We are not above doing laundry at a laundromat, but let's just say it's not our preference. One more thing that matters to us, but not a typical traveler, is workspace. And we need it for 2 people. We are not full-time travelers that work in trendy cafes. We work from home, and we work a lot. While we don't need 2 desks, we have learned that bar stools at a kitchen counter won't cut it. On some search platforms like Airbnb, there are filters for workspace. But not all hosts have the same idea of workspace as we do. In the past, we've made the mistake of trusting that if the host ticked the box that there's workspace, that we could make it work for us. Now we rely on the photos. We look closely at the furniture in each room. We scrutinize the pictures to determine the actual size of the kitchen table, because it's often where we end up working. We zoom in to see if we can spot an electrical outlet, and we even examine chairs to ascertain if they look comfortable. It's not an exact science, but we do make our best effort. When we're booking a place for a month at a time, there's a lot of pressure to get it right. Try as we might, things are not always up to scratch. We've walked into dirty kitchens that we've cleaned from top to bottom before we've cooked a single meal. We've battled with painfully slow Wi-Fi. We've had washing machines that break during our stay. But in the big picture, these are just inconveniences. And these apartments are not our forever homes. As travelers, we have accepted that not everything will go right, and that mindset certainly helps when things go wrong. We continue to fine-tune our list of what really matters, and we keep learning from our mistakes. Our detailed process for finding places to stay helps ease that constant pressure to find a place to live. And a big part of that process has long been Airbnb. For years, it's been our trusted source for finding long-term rentals without signing a contract. But is it still the best? I'm going to answer that question in my next video. I'll put the link in the comments when it's ready, but be sure to subscribe and turn on alerts if you want to know when it goes live. All right, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. And until next time, travel well.